Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with today's trading action. All right, now you can't really sugarcoat it. There's not a lot going on. Okay, US equity futures pretty neutral. You're looking at the action across the majors, a little bit mixed. You know what it was a standout is Aussie and Kiwi getting hit lower on the sort of really China cutting rates and basically looking terrible. Commodities also sort of adding to the weight on the Aussie and Kiwi and sort of the CAD there as well. But it's a bit of an interesting one, right? Because it is the last week of the month. There's not a lot of data coming out until sort of starting Wednesday. You look at what's going on and the markets have really sort of been diffused. As I said, most pairs are just trading sideways. The commodity currencies, which would be Aussie, Kiwi, and CAD, right, are falling, right? The US dollar is going up against the CAD and the Aussie and Kiwi are both falling against the US dollar. And that's really back down to China, right? They cut rates yesterday and a little bit of a surprise. But you know what? This sort of means if China's cutting rates, this is where the question mark comes over global growth. Then you start to get into the gray territory of, do you buy dollars just as a bit of a safe haven? That's where this can lead to. So we're just going to be a little bit careful as this plays out, because at the moment, and this is going to change, this structure and China sort of folding, and why it's such a big impact on the Aussie and Kiwi is because China is their biggest export market for both those countries, right? So if they're tanking, the economic sort of profile for China is weaker, but also definitely for the Aussie Kiwi. And you'd throw the CAD into that as well. Now, relative strength-wise, just having a look across the board here, right? You're looking at the month to date of the US dollar, how it's performing. Now, it's down against most things. And that's that could sort of neutralize or come back a little bit. You look at the, the spectrum of what's happening on, say, Euro's up against most. And this is on the backdrop. Don't forget, this is where the interest rates, do go a long way to the value of a country's currency. But this is where sort of the dynamic nature of the economics can sort of come into play, because we know, I've spoken about this, the Aussie, well, they're on hold, right? Everyone else is very closely going into a sort of cutting phase, joining the Fed on that interest rate cutting phase. But what we have is Australia's biggest export market is folding a bit, and all of a sudden the Aussie market, which has been very long, is now starting to really sort of tumble to the downside as those positions are closed out, right? That's just a little bit of an explanation there. So just looking at today's economic numbers, where potential opportunities could come from, you got the EU consumer confidence numbers, existing home sales out of the US, and check out those crude stocks that can sort of come into play. I wouldn't be looking at those judo numbers. They have got nothing to do there. And that's pretty much all she wrote. So as I said today, you know what? Probably keep your powder dry and wait for the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is where the action is. So just hang in there for the time being. If you look at the interest rate probabilities, still, no major shifts here. One I'm looking at very closely is the RBA. They have got no change, 76%, but they haven't got any sort of cuts coming in anytime soon. The market's been caught out on that. As I said, you get long because of the interest rate differential, but if a major shift in a trading partner shifts that, well, then you've got to adjust with that. And that's where we are at the moment. We're in a sort of little bit of limbo. We've got a lot of these developed countries on a sort of cutting phase. And that's pretty much what the Fed is going to be doing after this next meeting. And it's like, bang, we're back into this sort of sideways stuff. There are opportunities with that, and I'll give you more details as it comes up. I'm developing a trade tool, which is going to be perfect for trading these sideways markets. Anyway, guys, that's it from me. There's not a lot of news out at this stage. A lot of the news services still sort of jumping up and down about the US elections. That will be an issue for us going forward, no doubt, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. The The rest of it, well, the news is it's a bit of fluff. There's not a lot going on. Just get onto your global markets page and keep an eye on what's going on here. Equities, pretty neutral. If anything, US Treasuries, neutral. And that gives us sideways moving markets in small ranges on the majors. Good luck, guys. All the best. Cheerio.